Healthy foods. All right. Who do we have here?
Uh, Hi, Namaste.
Okay. And where are you at today?
Fine.
Okay. And how are you doing?
Yeah, fine. How about you?
We're doing great. We're doing great. We're having this wonderful conversation about just general practice of medicine, of how to get through the COVID without panicking, right? That be calm and build your immune system and
Of
everything.
course.
Yeah. So what good news do you have to share with us today?
So I think the sir, I was listening to sir. We were discussing about the general instructions on the how to boost up the immunity. I
Yes.
mean, yes. So going through the same line, I think the main concept behind increasing our immunity would be the antioxidants.
Yes.
Apart from that, our I mean the natural boosters like in our Indian scenario, it's the tulsi and sometimes neems also we follow. And apart from that, uh, just a minute, sorry.
That's okay. This is one thing I enjoy. We're all at home with our children now, and I love it. People have got children and everything, but it's been very, very nice. But sometimes it's hard to hear when you got a lot of things going on in the background. So, all
Yeah,
right. So,
really
children
sorry.
are home, right? Children are home. What a
He
joy.
just opened up the door and yeah.
That's okay. That's
So I
we're all experiencing, new normalities in life, right? That our kids are at home with us all day and things like that.
yeah. So kind of what we are going through that the ginger and the tulsi and what we have the the apart from that the neem. So they are the some natural herbal products which there is no harm also if we, even if we take it a little bit extra also. So those are the things which helps us in immunity, increasing our
Oh,
immunity, boosting our immunity.
right.
And apart from that, a lot of
Unbelievable.
hello, hi.
I'm so sorry. What did it? Okay.
Hi. So, share with us a little bit more about the what are your thoughts on building the immunity? What are some of the things that you think we should be doing?
So I was talking about the immunity boosters. What we have. So one of the common and richest sources in India of immunity booster is the vitamin C. It can be available in the form of the lemon, very easily available, and even the other
Gooseberry.
citrus gooseberry. Yeah, the one of the
Yes.
richest source of citrus fruit. So even
Yeah.
you can take that also. Even sometimes the other fruits like papaya and all those things. They are apart from the vitamin C. Vitamin A is also very rich in those sources. Those who are papaya, bananas. So they are richest source of other vitamins. So they
You
are
know,
can also be yeah. So those are things which can be of helpful in increasing our immunity. Uh, Apart from that, having the adequate hydration. I mean, that is the most important key part,
yeah.
to make hydrate your body and thus decreasing the severity of the infection. Definitely, get if you keep up the immunity up, keep hydrating, infection may catch you, but the severity will not be so severe. So you can have that thing. Then nothing harm also in taking the immunity boosters, like look, which are easily available in our local shops.
So, you know what we need to do, Ankit, because we keep hearing about all of these wonderful things we need to get into our body. We need to have a cooking show with
Yeah.
these doctors, and they go, yes, use that ginger. Yes, this is
Yeah.
what, but Muhammad did that with us one day. He shared with us this beautiful salad and dressing he made. I was
Yeah.
so hungry when he was finished talking about it. It's like the minute the show was over, I'm running to the kitchen going, all right, what do I have? But the thing, what would be cool, because getting out and shopping for these things can be very difficult. Wouldn't it be neat if we can not invent, but create a business where we talk about these foods, but we have these things delivered to the people, right? From the local local community garden or farmer or local community
Yeah.
distributor. And we say each week, okay, folks, this is what we're going to do. We're going to serve you, we're going to have meal time. And we're going to talk about each elements of the meal, why it's healthy for your body and what's good in it. And then we have those foods delivered to the people. Wouldn't that be neat? I mean, I would like it because I don't like to cook. So
No, I think that would definitely work. If we can have a chef, if we can have a chef and a couple of doctors and an Ayurveda specialist on board, and we can cook something interesting which is healthy, hygienic, and which will increase the immunity, I think that show will perfectly work. What do you think,
To be
doctor?
included in the kitchen.
Definitely.
yes, yeah. I mean, I think in the doctor's kitchen, right? The
Yeah,
doctor's
yeah,
kitchen.
yeah.
I think we can start
Yeah.
something ourselves. I've been looking for somebody to do this, but we talk about it, all of these foods. But I think to myself, how can I get that without a pill? I want the food. I don't want to just keep taking pills. Like I try to drink milk every day, right? Because that's supposed to be good for you. And eating a lot of dairy products, protein. How do you get that protein that builds your energy up, that boosts you? And also we can learn to cater it to people, right? Like maybe we can get an app where people can test their immunity, and then they can call in to us, our doctor team. Maybe we can get a doctor team together. See, I'm building a business now, and we can get a doctor team together, and the doctor team can say, okay, this is the foods you need to add to your diet, right? But it can be interactive, and but I think the app for immunity building, testing needs to go out. I think we need some kind of immunity testing, because we test cholesterol, we test sugar, we test heart rates. Why can't we test immunity?
Yeah.
And
I think we should work with Dr. Jatin closely because he worked with a lot of infectious diseases, and he understands how to build immunity and also what are antibodies and antigens. So I think offline we'll start doing something, and then maybe we can launch this program pretty soon on IBM TV.
yeah, because when you're working with infectious diseases, share with us a little bit about some of your research on the infectious diseases.
So, as Mr. Ankit has already highlighted, that there is something called antigen, which can be something known as infectious agent. I mean, it can be in the form of bacteria, virus, or any fungi. So, whenever it enters in our body, it mounts an immune response in our body. For mounting a good immune response, it means a lot of antibody are being produced against the antigen. Antigen, which we are saying it could be bacterial, fungal, or viral. In this scenario, where we are going through it's a COVID-19, it's a virus. So whenever COVID-19 or virus enter in our body, it leads to a development of antibody. So depending upon those antibodies production, our body will react. It can go into mild infection, it can go into moderate infection, or even it can go into the severe infection. This all depends upon how our immunity, that is the first line of defense, which we also known as innate immunity. Doesn't matter whether you have been infected with that virus earlier or not. That is the first line of defense. That is the innate immunity which plays into role. Our we have in the body cells known as NKT cells. Those are the cells whenever the virus enters in our body, attacks those cells, engulfs them and kills them. So those person who have good amount of antioxidants in the body, those who exercise daily, those who yoga on daily basis, to yoga on daily basis, and also those who have a you know best BMI. Best BMI means, I mean, BMI is adequate at less than 27 or less than 26. Those who are fit. So those are the one which mount a good antibody response against this virus, and these antibodies cope up in fighting this virus. In contrast to those who have poor outcomes, like diabetic patient, hypertensive patient, obese patients, those having the cardiovascular disease. So those are the one who didn't mount any good amount of antibody response, leading to hence poor outcome. So we have to even we are going through lockdown phase, we are eating on an n number of times. But what about our healthy diet? What about our exercise schedules? So they all are going messed up. So even in this lockdown state, I'll emphasize that exercise is a must. One thing, Second thing is healthy mind. So we don't, nobody talks about the healthy mind. How you can have the healthy mind? Healthy mind can come up only with healthy exercise and healthy yoga. So those are two things. And third is healthy diet also. So with these three, healthy yoga, exercise, and healthy diet, our healthy mind will work. And with healthy mind, our body immunity will boost up. And those are things which nobody taught us or nobody teaches us in the our med school days, because these are things which are comes under the Ayurveda part, not under the our allopathic part. But these are the must. I mean, these are the must things. A healthy mind plays a major role in fighting any disease, whether it's a non-communicable disease or it's a communicable disease. I think this is from my side.
No,
I would
I
like
think
to add
from an
one point.
education. That's not just
Just
from
one point.
yourself. That's
Yes,
experience.
please,
I would like
doctor.
to add
Yeah.
one
Please.
point. As you
Yeah.
said, there is a definition for health in Ayurveda, which has been accepted by WHO also. That is samadosha samagnischa. Samadosha means all the dosha, vata, pitta, kapha should be in balance. Samagni, all the three agnis, bhutagni, jataragni, and dhatwagni. And samadosha samagnisha samadhatu, all the seven dhatus should be in balance. Malakriya, all the excretion function should be normal. Prasanna, happy, Atma, soul, Mana, Atma Indriya Mana. Atma, sense organs, and Manas, soul. That is called a healthy state. Samadosha Samagnisha Samadhatu Malakriya. Prasanna Atma Indriya Manaha Swastha Itya Vidhiyate. He is called as Swastha. This is what definition actually. The same as Dr. Sab told us,
Yeah.
same thing.
Yes, sir. These things we don't know, but the only thing which we know is
Yeah,
every organ has to be controlled by overall by the brain only.
yeah,
So
exactly,
if our
exactly.
brain is healthy by any means, I mean by yoga, by exercise, or by diet, so our body will be in a good state. It will
Yeah,
not be going to easily invaded by any organism.
different.
I think what we're talking about here is, very good facts, knowledge, and so we don't have fear. But it's about not just surviving COVID, but how to live among all the other viruses that we're going to be, faced with in the future. So because we're faced with viruses every day. And viruses that kill people, but not at the volume that we're dealing with right now. But I think these are good conversations that they're not just about COVID. This is about healthy lifestyle to help prevent heart disease, kidney disease, liver disease, but
Skin day.
yeah, skin disease. And
Yeah.
you're right. And also, Dr. Yu brings this up a lot, especially with stem cell, is about just making you feel younger, right? Like when you eat that thick food, a lot of food that is heavy and not good for you, you feel sluggish, you feel bad, you don't feel good, your heart feels like it's working twice. But when you eat healthy, you feel healthy. When I eat my grapefruit, I feel better. I feel energy. When I eat lemons, I like lemons without sugar. I feel healthy. I think everything we're talking about is we need to teach people how to eat again. We forgot how to eat.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
so easy to go get a box of potato chips and eat a box of potato chips than it
Yeah.
is to eat and peel a grapefruit and eat a grapefruit. You
Along
know,
with pop.
yeah, and it's more, yeah, pop, right? And
Yeah.
it's more expensive to buy one grapefruit than
Yeah.
it is the bag of chips. And I think we need to change that. But I think if we teach people good habits, that it's okay to sit there and peel in front of people and eat a grapefruit, it's okay. It's natural and it's good and it's healthy. I eat the peelings. I like to clean the peelings and eat them. I think they're healthy for you because that's where all the sunshine was. But you got to clean them, right? Don't eat the peeling. The peeling was there for a reason, one to protect the good part of the fruit. But I like the whole everything. But I think what we're talking about, we need to get a show on this. I, my boss keeps saying we need a show on this, like a constant show where we eat. But I still like my idea of, let's talk about these foods and then let people order them and ship it to the people.
Hello.
Hey, and we got David that keeps popping in and out. Is he having problems with technology?
Problem, so he's calling me to fix up the problem. So he wanted to join the show, but he's having some difficulties.
Because this is a good conversation for David as well, because
Yeah,
he has
yeah.
very, very
I'll
good
try
conversation.
one more time. I'll just go out and try one more time. In the meantime, we should
Okay.
welcome Dr. Rajat Gupta. He's a pain specialist based out of Delhi, and he'll introduce himself. I'll take a leave for the meantime.
That sounds good.
Hello everyone.
Hello, namaste.
Hi.
Namaste.
Good evening to you.
Good evening. Good morning to you.
Oh, thank you. Well, we're almost noon. We're past noon, so it's our days change. You know, Ankit and I do this for 4 hours every day, 7 days a week. We felt the passion to get the word out to people from all of these your intelligent experiences of how we can not just win the war of COVID, but for the future, right? That we these are things we're not just building for today. We want to establish these things for the future. So how are things going for you today?
Things are going good. We are doing well. The people in India, though the numbers are increasing, but we guys are fighting out, and we are very positive. And we are trying to find out vaccine and different solutions to the disease. So hopefully, we'll be able to get a control on that.
You know, we've been talking about a vaccine. China claims they have a vaccine, and we've been working with Dr. Yoo. He's been on our show. He comes on 3 days a week. He does stem cell research, and there's another doctor, Dr. Stein, that's in Vegas, and he's doing stem cell research, which seems to be a healthy alternative for vaccines if we can make it work. There's a lot of controversy with stem cell, but I've learned a lot through them that they're not just taking stem cells from anywhere. And they're very, very healthy and mindful about the use of stem cells. So very interesting research. They use stem cells right now for pain. You know, that they're just generally taking good, healthy cells. And if they can find the right receptor in the body, they can put that healthy cell in the body and let it regenerate what has been damaged. Because that's what our cells do, right? Until eventually they don't have the immunity to do that anymore until we get older. Those cells get older. And so I've learned a lot watching that. What are some of the experiences? You said that you're seeing an increase of the infections.
The whole idea behind this
Link.
I think we're having some difficulties.
Not audible.
So, well, in infectious disease, what is your thoughts on Dr. Ahuja? What is your thoughts on stem cell research?
Already, I think 2 days back we were with Dr. Philip. I think Dr. Phillip Yoo. He was already on the lot of research. He has already did it on this topic. Even the one of these research is going on with the help of Israel, and I think some hospital in New Jersey. I think they were on the PLX, I think plaque cells. It's a kind of a extract derived from the placenta, and those are the cells which are pluripotent. Means they have the capability to convert into any active cells, any kind of active cells, and those have the capability as to act as an immunomodulator, just like our hydroxychloroquine, which we say it's an immunomodulator. It's an anti-malarial drug, but by an immunomodulator, it can help in controlling the virus part. Similarly, with the PLX cells, whatever we call the pluripotent cells, they can be acting as immunomodulator. Also, they have been using it. We have been using it earlier also for the regeneration tissue, for regenerating the tissues like any chronic insufficiency in the lower limb or any kind of dead muscle regeneration. So those are the things we have been used in the past in terms of regeneration of the tissues. But to tackle this virus, I think it will be a new venture for us, and hopefully if it will comes out to be successful, that will be the winning part of the whole humanity. It can be utilized because company has already claimed that even if it comes out to be trial comes out to be successful, we'll be producing a lot of PLX cells that can be used both in the Western world as well as in the Asian countries also.
And I agree with you. And my whole thing too is some of the stuff in research of stem cells is why not utilize things that are already in our bodies and in our DNA rather than creating something that is of a foreign substance to the human body. To recreate it and help it rebuild and become healthier, just like when we're putting healthier foods in our body, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to be drinking a lot of turmeric. Ankit tells me this all the
Yeah.
time, and we've got a lot of input on that. I think I'm going to start selling it. It's, but all of these things are healthy. Some of the things that we've been talking about is the mental state of mind. We talked about that today, which I think is very important. And when you're fighting any kind of disease, infection, viruses, pain, Dr. Gupta, I think people need to be in the right mental frame of mind when they're in pain. I know I learned a lot by going to a pain psychiatrist years ago to help learn to live with my disease. Because you have a tendency when you have a chronic disease to sometimes get depressed. You're not feeling good. You're not sleeping good. You don't sleep good. All of these things happen. But when you have knowledge, you have no more fear, and you know how to fight. But knowledge comes also with strength up here. What are some of the things that you're seeing with the climb of the infectious rates in India, Dr. Gupta? Are you seeing some of the pain?
Yeah, we have been seeing a lot of patients with cancer pain. So chronic pain patients are not regularly following up because of the scare of COVID, but cancer pain patients have to follow up for their opioids refill. So we are seeing a huge number of cancer pain patients coming in. These patients are already very depressed and they are fighting with a tough disease. So probably COVID is not affecting them that much. But yes, we are trying to encourage them, motivate them, and tell them not to worry. And coming back to COVID, and so there has been a lot of research into plasma cell therapy.
Awesome.
So they are taking plasma cells from the patients who have recovered from COVID, and they are said to have rich in antibodies against the COVID virus. And they are trying to transfuse that into patients who are terminally ill with COVID-19. And we have been doing few cases and have got very good positive results. So let's hope that this plasma cell therapy is also a boom to treat COVID patients.
Awesome. Where are they obtaining? I mean, this would require a high dose of plasma. How are they obtaining all the plasma right now?
So they are targeting the patients who have recovered from COVID-19 and
Awesome.
have been discharged home. And they are encouraging them to come back to the hospital, donate blood. They are collecting the plasma out of that blood and retransfusing the blood back into the bodies. And then transfusing that plasma onto the patients who are on ventilators or critically ill. And there are 5-7 cases which we have done so far, and we have seen good positive results. These patients are recovering.
Wow, that is such good news because that's a good solution. That seems to be an easy
Yeah.
solution.
And they say that this has been tried in the past also for Ebola virus and
Yeah.
polio and other various viruses. So probably the old therapy is working. So let's hope. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
So,
Yeah.
Dr. Gupta, is that means that the therapy works for all the patients, or is there any bifurcation based on the plasma therapy?
Ankit, it is still very, very fresh. Cannot comment whether it's going to work for all the patients. So far, we have tried it on 5-7 patients. They have recovered. But once we get the okay from the central government and we try it on more number of patients, then we'll get to know about the failures and success.
I would also like to take a view from Dr. Jatin as well regarding the plasma therapy. So, Dr. Jatin, what do you think about the plasma therapy, and what kind of treatment we are seeing in future using plasma?
Yes, I think the even the Delhi government has started this initiative in terms of from the social media also and from the television part also, that more and more people who have been recovered from the this COVID-19, they should come out, and even the government will help them, will facilitate them to come from their home to come to the hospitals, give their blood. That blood can be utilized, if the depending upon the antibody titers, if they are high, they can be utilized from for two patients for the recovery. If the antibody levels are not so much high, at least, in fact, adequate also, that can be utilized for the this one person life saving can be done. So convalescent plasma, any patient who has recovered, who has no fever, 2 weeks have been passed, patient has already mount the IgG antibody response, and he's totally afebrile. Those are the persons. Our role is to promote them, to educate them that yes, you are totally healthy, and now there will be no problem if you come out and give your blood. That blood can help us in treating many patients. So even not about research, we can save life, we can do research, but it's a humanity work. It's a humanity, because if people who have recovered, they have the good immunity, and they can give their blood. There's no harm in giving blood. I mean, everyone should give blood after every 3 months. I mean, that's the whole concept. There is no doubt about it, whether you are COVID positive or COVID negative. But yes, if you are COVID positive earlier, you have recovered, then you can save life in terms of for those who are severe COVID pneumonia patients. So in India, I think this is a new concept which is going on already. Western world has tried, and some sort of even success has already been received. In India, we have treated 5 patients so far, 5, 6 patients. The results are really good in terms of that. Second thing is, those patients who are coming in contact, they will also mount some herd immunity also. So to what about the ending of this COVID-19? So we see ending of this COVID-19 pandemic by 3 ways only. One is by development of the herd immunity. Second is those who are having comorbidity, so they should receive convalescent plasma. And third, which is a remote possibility so far from now, that is the development of the good adequate vaccine. So only these three are the measures, I think, by which any country will come out of this pandemic.
And also, I mean, what our viewers would like to know, is plasma therapy a painful therapy for them, or is it as same as the other therapies? Dr. Rajat?
It's like blood donation.
Blood
There is
donation. Okay.
there is nothing. So there is no scare or anything. It's
Okay.
like donating one rack of blood. So that's all.
That's
Is
it.
it
And
like
how much
is it
blood?
like is it like a dialysis treatment where we just take a blood out and then put in from? Is it
Ankit,
like
that
that?
seems that you have never donated blood.
No, no.
Well,
I have done it. I'm just trying to explain for my viewers. I mean, what happened with the
No,
thing.
it's like blood donation. You put in a cannula and
Okay.
you just put in a drip. You take out blood and you transfuse it back. That's all. So you have
Okay. Okay.
cannula in. That's a single prick. That's it.
I'm just curious about, is it taking just one transfusion, one bag, or I mean, how much is it taking to help the patients?
So 1 unit of blood will be sufficient to from 1 unit of blood, whole blood. What they do is they extract the plasma part, and
Okay.
the rest of the blood, if required, can be given for as a packed RBCs for any other patient. But for plasma part, we extract it from the segregating machine, and then that can be given to the desired patient.
Okay.
Okay. And also, if something is, I mean, if that the other person is suffering from some kind of a disease, or maybe something like diabetes or any chronic disease, would that also carry forward to that other person? Or I mean, is it not not the
No
way it
other
goes?
comorbidities is carried through to the other person. It is only
Okay.
the viruses, and you screen the blood for the HIV, hepatitis B, and hepatitis C. Apart from
Okay.
that, only bloodborne infections can be transmitted. Hypertension and blood sugars, diabetes
Blood sugar.
cannot be transmitted.
Okay.
I think
I
Dr.
think
Yoo
Dr.
is
Phillip Yoo-
interested in the conversation that we're having about the
Yeah.
success rate with plasma, and he wanted to beam in. We beam in and out just like we are on Star Wars.
You mean the plasmapheresis, where you take somebody who has the antibodies to COVID because they developed the IgG immunity, and you can take their plasma and you could IV that in somebody infected and give them the immunity, correct?
Yeah,
They're
correct.
recovering. They're not just immunity, they're recovering. So they're
Recovering.
taking the plasma and putting it in patients that are sick, and those patients are recovering.
Well, yeah, you're giving them the immune factors
Yeah.
to fight it. Yeah,
So
same thing.
but they've had every one that they've done this to has been successful. So this has been good research. So
So what is the mechanism? There must be some the growth factors or the umbilical cord blood or
no, it's just
hematopoietic stem cells must bind to the ACE2 receptor to block, to block the COVID virus to lock and key on the ACE2 receptor so they cannot replicate. Is that one of the mechanisms?
I don't. I think they're just doing blood transfusion, the plasma
No, I'm
transfusion.
asking the specific mechanism of that.
I don't know. One of you?
So in the convalescent plasma, this just like already you have been infected with those particular virus, and it's antibody production. And once you have the antibody production with that virus, that antibody in the form of plasma can be transfused to the other patient after extraction from the positive patient. It can be transfused to those who are having the severe disease. So those antibodies will go and bind to the virus part, because virus has certain epitopes. We know that antigens has certain epitopes on the surface in the form of spike protein. The virus of COVID has spike proteins over its surface. Those antibodies which are produced in the positive patient, they go and bind to those epitopes and leading to neutralization process, thus decreasing the inflammation part.
So it'll bind to the spike proteins and it'll help
Yeah,
break down the cellular
yeah,
wall. So your
yeah,
your your T cells, natural killer cells, could penetrate the wall and kill it, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
So this is not a new concept. If you look at the IVIG, which we've been using it for last many years. So
It'll
IVIG
also
is
block the antigen so it cannot bind to the ACE2 receptor, your
absolutely,
cells.
absolutely, yeah,
Perfect.
absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So those who have those are the viruses who are circulating in our blood or in body. Those who have not been so far bind to the ACE receptors. So those are the
Yeah,
virus
this
which
is
get.
the solution. This is a natural vaccine.
Yeah,
So I
this is a
don't
natural
understand the
vaccine.
pharmaceutical companies. They're like, "Oh, this doesn't work. It's voodoo. We need a
Could be
drug."
drug.
And
Yeah,
the vaccine has so many toxins in it. We were just
yeah,
talking
yeah,
mercury, thimerosal, which is formaldehyde,
yeah.
aluminum, aborted fetus parts. Very unethical. Yeah.
So this is what I told. For most of the countries have the youth, youngsters, and they are 60 to 70% are youngsters in every country. Like we talk about India, more than 70% are youth population. So those are the one. Even if it get infection, 95% will be getting the mild infections, and those who are going to recover it, that can form the part of the herd immunity. One. Number two, in the form of convalescent plasma, that can be used for the rest of the 30% population, those who are prone to get severe infection.
Yeah, they're
Third,
older. They have
the
weaker
older
immune
diabetes,
systems.
yeah,
They have comorbidities. Yeah.
comorbidities, yeah. The third one is the vaccine. God knows when vaccine will be coming to our scenario or market. That's a matter of debate so far. So till now we have two things, that is the our natural immunity will favor the herd immunity. Later on, second thing is the convalescent plasma.
Yeah, we really need to resist the vaccine agenda because autism is on the rise, because as vaccines are on the rise, the incidence of autism, so there's definitely a correlation. And now, they want to mandate this COVID-19 vaccine, which is, going to cause a lot of autoimmune disorders. So yeah, I think the convalescent plasma is the perfect solution because it's biology based. It's not chemical based. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
You're
biological.
using the body's innate immune system, that it's already designed to do without putting these toxic chemicals inside of you. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, one more benefit with the convalescent plasma is that is cell deficient. So we are just transfusing the plasma part. There is no cell in it. So no doubt of any getting into any kind of reaction or blood mediated transfusion reactions.
No graft versus host disease.
No graft
or
rejection or something like that. Any kind
autoimmune.
of immune mediated reactions.
No vasovagal response. Great.
No the vagal response. So with one pack of plasma, patient can go into drastic response.
So when you draw the peripheral blood, do you have to spin it to separate the PRP and plasma? How do you do that?
Yeah, definitely the separators are there. These things are not done by us. They are the things which are done by the the blood transfusion laboratory, the blood transfusion department, blood transfusion department.
I wonder if they filter out the leukocytes, the white blood cells, because
definitely yes, because
that could cause too much acute inflammation.
Absolutely,
too much NF kappa beta response.
NF reaction. Yeah.
We just have to. Unfortunately, the World Health Organization, you never hear this.
I think there's some problem with the network.
Yeah.
Keep on missing Dr. Yoo.
It sounds nice. Sunny California.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting my sun nutrition right now.
I do that once a day. I go out exactly once a day.
I did my Bikram yoga last Sunday. It felt great. So yeah.
Now I go outside every day, sit in the sun for 20 minutes every day. I do the same thing. I think
where you're at, it gets humid, so you got to be out early, huh? Yeah.
Well, I go after the show. It's not early, but that's the only time I can go because the sun's not up when I'm ready to go do the show. So, but yeah.
Hey, so who are these? So some doctors in Africa.
No. All right. So we'll talk about that later. That's a different subject. We'll talk about that later. All right. So sounds like a great conversation going on about sharing information. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, I keep on getting these stupid marketing calls.
Yeah. That's all right. Can't get rid of all of those. But anyway,
so Kim, you have some people in Africa and Brazil who might need some test kits.
Yeah, and I just can't get them on the TV show because their internet's not very well. But yes, we have people in Africa and Brazil that are trying to learn from what we're doing.
We have people from around the world. I mean, so that's not a problem. The problem is to keep a good bandwidth for everyone so that we can talk and share a lot of information.
But I will definitely get you. We'll talk about that later because they had a lot of questions. But I've got all of that I'm sending to you.
I talked to the manufacturer. I think they said they could ship globally, so it shouldn't be a problem. Ironically, it's hard to ship to the U.S. because there's no direct flight, no cargoes, no commercial airlines directly because all the problems with China. So they have to reroute them through Hong Kong or Korea. So it takes longer. But I think other countries, I think they ship direct, but we'll find out.
Yeah, and I don't know that we could ship anything to India, but they don't need anything. But I get contacted all the time about things, and people hear things, us talking about things, and so I just reached out to you about a conversation that somebody had. So I'm gonna have we got that lined up at 2:30 today.
All right, great. Also, ask if they need any N95 masks as well,
They do.
because we could ship those as well. So yeah.
They need anything. They need everything. The PPE, everything. So absolutely.
PPP and then the plasmapheresis technique, and they'd be good to go.
Well, they're interested in this conversation as well. Like if plasma transfusions are working, they want to understand. They want to connect and make contact with people who know how to do this because everybody's in this together, right? This is about humanity. This isn't about politics. So they're listening to the show and they're going, "Hey, how do I get this? Hey, I saw the test kit. How do I if they're testing, can we get them?" And
That's the thing. It's one thing about education. It's another thing about delivering the technology. And so we're solving both, which is great. I mean,
yeah.
there's no podcast like us.
No, there's no there. Literally, Ag Kid and I, we get contacted. Can you help me find my sister? Can you help me find? No, we do, don't we, Ag Kid? We get
a lot of calls, and it's difficult for us to address everything on our show, basically. But we are getting calls from around the world, and people are asking you, doctor, how can we contact Dr. Yoo, and how can we contact Dr. Gupta, and what and about Ayurveda and things like that. But for us, we also have a limitation to manage things on a 24/7 time, so it's difficult for us. But we are trying our best to give us a best shot. And
yeah, so my next guest I want to invite is her name is Barb Krujkov. She's a PhD stem cell researcher, and she's done clinical trials with Mayo Clinic and all that. So she could talk about the research and science about doing a proper IRB, interventional review board stem cell studies. So I'm going to get her on the next show. So
Because
it's fun.
It's not just about it's not what we're doing is not just about the solutions for today. It's about how we can continue this on for tomorrow.
Yeah, because there's going to be future pandemics. I guarantee you. There's already 3 strains of the COVID virus, and we don't know what's going to happen next year. That's why the vaccine is absolutely not the solution, because even if it works, they don't develop it to a year and a half later, and the virus already mutated. So yeah,
it's got to be us.
For Dr. Ahuja,
we have to learn.
We have been so there was a news that there are some transplants happening in Max Saket. Could you share how during this pandemic what kind of precautions you are following and doing the kidney transplant at Max Saket?
So one thing is that it's an life-saving procedure. One thing we have to understand. So donor, for the donor, it could be suppose a patient attendant is a donor. So for him, he is not a life-saving procedure. But for a recipient who is thriving for this organ for the last many years, who is suffering from the renal disease for last many years, he or she needs that organ very on a very urgent basis. He or she cannot wait to land up in n number of complications. So what the the algorithm is that we have to go for the testing of the donor part as well as for the recipient part. Apart from that, the medical legal kind of thing arises that we have to take a consent also that you may be in a suppose incubating phase. Suppose we test for the COVID-19, the test comes out to be negative, but who knows that virus might be inside his body, but test is coming out to be negative. So those kind of things have to be taken in mind before going to the transplant. Once we have done all the basic procedure, follow all the algorithm related to transplant as well as for the COVID-19 testing. COVID-19 testing means that we have to look at the symptoms, clinical history, and then going for the RT-PCR, which is the standard gold standard test for the COVID-19. If both are negative, both in the donor as well as for the recipient, then only these life-saving procedures are being done. Otherwise, they have to be simply no for even if one of the patient is positive or giving any kind of history of coming in contact with any positive patient. So simply we have to say no. We cannot go for transplantation under these circumstances.
Yeah, you have to have the
Actually,
proper testing.
during the COVID,
Yeah.
Yes,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
yes, doctor.
Go ahead.
Yes, doctor. You please go ahead.
Yeah, so yeah, he's exactly right. You have to do the proper testing. You have to test both IgG and IgM. Um, if they're positive for IgM, that means they've had a recent exposure of the past 2-3
Absolutely.
days.
Absolutely.
But if they're not symptomatic, most likely they're developing the antibodies while the
Yeah.
virus is shedding. If they're IgG positive and
Yeah.
IgM, they've had the infection for a while, maybe a few weeks, and they are infectious stage. Those patients need the plasmapheresis. If they're IgG positive and IgM negative, that means they're past the acute phase. And if they're asymptomatic, they've developed the antibodies, then they should be a candidate to donate their plasma, right? And then the problem with the PCR nasal swab, it takes like 5 days to get the results, but the 10-minute rapid, the blood serology test is ideal because you get it in 10 minutes. It's more scalable, right? Ideally, yeah, you want to do both, but, you know, not everybody has a lab, available to them, in all these second, third world countries. So I think the serology, that the rapid test is a solution. It's more scalable, right? Yeah.
Is there a way to eventually do the rapid test so that you have the right enzymes that you can do it all at home? You don't have to.
Yeah. So we developed the rapid home testing kit where we ship it to the patient's home, and through a telemedicine consultation, like we're doing now, our medical staff can walk them through how to do the test. Okay, wipe your finger with alcohol, prick it with the lancet, put the drop of blood in the testing area. Then you put 2 drops of the reagent. It's usually colloidal reagent. And 10
Yeah.
minutes, like a pregnancy test, you get a line, control, and IgG, IgM. It's very simple, just like testing your cholesterol or your blood sugar at home. It's a perfect solution. Yeah.
Well, that's one of the things that they say testing is going to be the best way that we can get control of this
Yeah,
situation.
in California, you can get the PCR test, the nasal swab, but there's only like a dozen testing sites for a huge state. And you know, I I tried to schedule one because I want to see how it's done, and they're all booked out. I can't even get it. And there's testing sites like it's 30 minutes away from my home. A lot of people, it's very inconvenient. Our home kit, we could ship it anywhere, and that way they get it done. So
Yeah. No, I think this is the way to go.
I have a
To
question for Dr. Rajat, that people are, suffering from a lot of pain, and especially cancer patients and maybe patients with severe COVID disease. So what kind of precautions or what kind of practices you would like to share? And also, what are your thoughts on stem cell using for severe pain?
See, I'll start with the stem cell thing. In pain medicine, we are using a lot of stem cell, but to be very honest, it's more of a regenerative therapy, and it's mostly dependent upon growth factors. So we are trying to inject the platelet-rich plasma, which are very rich in growth factors, and they tend to induce inflammation and cause regeneration of the damaged cartilage in the joints. So we are using a lot of PRP, and it's being marketed as stem cells. So it's basically the growth factors which are working for knee arthritis and tennis elbows and calcaneal spurs, ankle pain. So, in terms of cancer
how
patients,
many cc's of blood do you draw for your PRP? 60, 180?
we draw 10 cc's. and we get around 4 to 5 cc's of PRPs.
Is it leukocyte rich or
Yeah, it's
is it
leukocyte rich.
leukocyte rich PRP, or you filter it
Yeah,
out?
we get both the
You
things.
keep
The
the
few people are injecting the leukocyte rich as well, and few people are discarding and injecting the rest.
yeah. Yeah, sometimes you need the leukocytes for arthritis pain because that activates the cytokine signaling. You know,
Yeah,
you need local inflammation to signal the stem cells to go, your endogenous stem cells to go repair. Yeah.
and
Are
in
you
terms of cancer,
have you
yeah,
used exosomes before? Exosomes?
I haven't tried.
Okay. Yeah.
Exosomes. Okay. This is.
Yeah, that's a whole nother discussion.
I was gonna say, let's kind of tame this down a little bit.
Oh, Dr. Sin's going to join us, I think. He's
Okay.
backstage. Yeah.
He's joining us, but I think there's an internet problem with him.
All right.
He gets on and then he beams out. He beams in and out. So
I got to tell Bill to get better internet connection, not to be cheap.
well, it's Vegas, right? Vegas doesn't.
No, they should
Now let
have
me
good
explain to
connection.
you about Vegas. Let me explain to you about Vegas. They did not invest in good internet for a reason. They didn't want people working. They wanted
Really?
gambling. Yep. No, I know this because of my background.
Yeah, they want you gambling 24/7.
Right. So they didn't want you up in your room Wi-Fiing and working, and they wanted you on the floor gambling. So they did not invest in good internet in Vegas. So
That makes perfect sense.
it is the truth. I worked there. That was the world I worked in for years. So no, they have their reasons. They I would get frustrated. I would bring my own Wi-Fi with me when I go to Vegas. I bring my own Wi-Fi, like my own hotspot and everything, and because
So,
you can't.
Dr. Ahuja, how are things in India right now? How are things shaping up in terms of the COVID-19? And we are seeing numbers are rising, but do you think we are in control and we are not?
Plus, the whole world's on internet, so it's probably slowed down.
So you are absolutely right. The numbers are creeping very slowly at slowly pace. But yes, definitely we have already reached the more than 20,000 landmark, and
Yeah.
hopefully, if things will not come in, control by the end of this May, we'll be having more than 2 or 3 lakhs patients in India also. So what we have to do
What
is,
city? What city do you practice in?
yeah, I'm from New Delhi.
Okay. Have you heard of Dr. Gita Shroff?
Dr. Dheeraj. Okay, he might be knowing. No, I.
Yeah, she uses the human embryonic stem cells in India, and it's
Okay.
not from aborted fetus. It's from in vitro fertilization. So that
Okay.
way it's not ethical, but that's, she's very controversial because, embryonic stem cells is controversial, but maybe I'll try to get her on the show too. Yeah.
So,
But she's
Ankit
getting
will
excellent
help.
results with, childhood disorders like, Down syndrome, things like that, autism,
Autism, cerebral palsy.
cerebral palsy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if India has this issue, but it seems like we'll have an infectious disease issue, and we get it under control, and we forget about it. We don't research it anymore. We don't fund the research for these things anymore. We'll fund putting things into space, but not saving the people from diseases. Does India struggle with funding issues?
So far
Dr.
the
Ahuja would be able
yeah.
to answer this question.
So far the institutes, those who are center of excellence. If I talk about the institutes like AIMS, New Delhi, other institute like PJ Chandigarh, Jipmer Institute, Sri Chitra, we have 5 or 6 institute of excellence. So those are the institute. I don't think so. There will be, fund problem will be there. But definitely those institutes who are in the peripheral cities, they might be having concern related to the research part. one of the biggest body of research in India is the ICMR, and I think the ICMR is doing the excellent job. So far, they have released so much of guidelines in the favor of the patient, in favor of the doctors, those who are practicing in the field, and how to use the PPE, how to, donning of the PPE, how doffing of those PPE. So I think the ICMR, the body, which is the main research body of India, I think they're doing is great job. Just like the NIH of USA, they're doing a great job. Yeah.
But do you think, Doctor, we need more institutes who will do focus on research only, so that we can handle the
Oh, looks like
situation?
we lost Bill again.
Yeah, definitely
We
we
lost
need to
Vegas
build up.
internet.
You know that
Or it could be
data.
private investment, basically, so that private companies would come forward and do some kind of a research and maybe have a public-private partnership for a research thing. What do you think, Doctor?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely right. You know that when the result from data from China was coming, the US is totally, that's going little bit away from that data. That the data from US is totally different as what we are getting it from the China initially. Similarly, the data of our own country, we have to generate our own data because
Yeah.
the ethnicity, the population part could be different. We might mount a different, immune response as compared to the Western populations. So we have to generate our own data. We have to generate, whether the hydroxychloroquine will going to work in our population or not. What kind of side effects we are going to have it? What kind of beneficial effect in terms of hydroxychloroquine combining with the erythromycin? Whether the remdesivir will going to help in our country or not. So these are the key issues which need to be considered while mm, administering the drugs. So far, on the compassionate use, we are using the hydroxychloroquine. Nowadays, the ivermectin is also coming in up in the market that it can play a role. Already, we have talked about the convalescent plasma that it can be, proved to be a therapy which can change the scenario. So we have to generate our own data because Indian picture, Indian scenario is totally different from the Western world.
Yeah, also,
Also,
Kim,
what do you think about?
the reason why it's hard to get funding for the research is it's not patentable. You can't patent somebody's plasma. You can't patent stem cells because the counts is not predictable. When you're investing in a drug, they want the dosage to be the same
You
for
can't do
each
that.
dose, and you can't do that with biologics.
No,
So
no.
no pharmaceutical company in their right mind is going to invest in the research for the stem cells or plasma because they can't patent it and they can't really profit. So yeah, we have to fund it by ourselves and gather the data. But here's the ironic thing: even if big pharma did invest in the research for plasmapheresis for stem cells,
Uh,
most drug studies, they manipulate the data, they hide the
Modern.
safety issues, they hide the risks, and they lobby the FDA and Congress to get it approved. So even if you do have a legitimate funded study, they manipulate the data to get the drugs approved, to get the CDC to push these vaccines. So it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, you are absolutely right, dear Philip. Yeah, but the problem which we are going through is it's not about the we cannot wait. It's not about the matter of the drug, effective drug. It's all about the humanity part is going on. We are already under the face of pandemic. Already our ship is already sinking day by day. So we cannot wait for the
No.
pharmaceutical company to get a drug, get a vaccine. We have to use our own resources, own brain to get out of this sinking of our ship.
So here's a concept in medicine research because I know everything's based on patents. Believe me, I know I got patents, and I work with patent attorneys. But and I understand that why you cannot patent some of this, but there's a business side of this as well. And granted, if you go out there and you don't have a patent, other people are going to be using your study and your research that you put a lot of money into.
Piggy bank off of it. Yeah.
But believe me, I live with that with my patents. And I invest a lot of money in my patents. Believe me, patents can cost you up to $1 million if you're not careful.
Yeah,
But,
like if you get 510 clearance on a medical device, another company could piggyback off of your clearance. It's crazy.
I know, and you spend hundreds of thousands of dollars getting the certifications and everything. So hear me out on this. Sometimes you can go ahead and get the knowledge and sell it. So sell it to the people that are going to steal from you anyway. Sell them the license, the right to use, and they'll pay you for a while. But meanwhile, you're going to beat them to market, and that's the key. But you're not only beating them to market, you're beating them to market with the knowledge. And there's a good story behind this. You've heard of Google Glasses, right? You've heard of Google Glasses?
Yeah.
What's that?
So Google Glasses with video glass type, Google had glasses, but the inventor was not getting any credit for it. And Google pretty much stole it from him. And so he made a deal with them that his name could go, that he invented it, but they ended up trying to make all the money with it, but he left them. He said, screw you guys, I'm going to go do this on my own. The thing is again, Google Glasses never went beyond that invention because they did not have the knowledge in his brain to carry it to the next scale. They just had a cool idea and said, yeah, this is great. We're going to steal it. We're just going to make it work. But they never could make it work right. It never went off the ground because they didn't have the original inventor. And this is what I tell people. You can steal and piggyback all you want. At the end of the day, you do not have the innovation it takes to make that scale and make it work right. You're going to cut corners and, so, or you can buy the licenses to do it right and continue gaining my innovation. So there's several ways to do it, but I agree but we got to start thinking smarter on this. Otherwise innovation stops. And maybe we can get some investors on board. There's some grants right now. I talked to Bill about this. He needs to email me so I can email him the databases that are out there, but they're giving laboratory grants for research right now on finding stuff like what you guys are doing. So let's see what we can do to get you funded.
How much money?
Yeah, maybe. How
much money?
Dr. Sin, he's the lab expert.
Yeah, how much money?
He's developed drugs in India. Now he's more into biological medicine. So we have the technology, and maybe we can do a joint venture, Kim, where you guys could get the grant, and we could do a study together. We'll make it international.
How much money do you require to do the research?
Man, I wish I could get Dr. Sin in. He needs to be on this conversation. Yeah.
Well, the thing is that in any business, it's a matter of if we can get it to market. I always love competition. That tells me that I'm in the right business. If I have competitors, it makes me a little more edgier. It makes me think smarter. It makes me think more competitive. So, everybody goes, oh, there's competitors. Yeah, that's great. That means there's a market for it. So right now there's a market for an answer. It's money. We ruined you.
How much you want?
How much money do you want?
Dr. Yoo is not able to calculate how much he wants, basically.
How much money do you need?
No, I just want to have fun. Right?
Hey, just keep him funded, and he'll be happy.
Well, I mean, we have a lot of investors on board, and people would also interested to invest at this point of time. So that's why I'm asking, what is the basic amount he's looking for, so that we can...
So anyways, I think definitely, like Kim said, you can do all the studies you want, but the bottom line is patients can't wait. When you have acute respiratory distress syndrome, you're not going to wait a year and a half till the vaccine is developed. You'll be dead by then.
Yeah.
You want something you go do now that doesn't have side effects, and the plasmapheresis, the umbilical cord stem cells. It's a perfect solution. All you need is a donor.
Right. That's because we're utilizing our own genetics. We're not utilizing foreign matter. We're utilizing our own. So there's not going to be as big of a side effect issue if we, make sure that the matches are there. I don't fully understand the use of all of this, But I know that we're utilizing our own genetics. We're not utilizing foreign matter, and I think that's important.
Yeah, I think this is a big wake up call for the world. The food industry, get rid of artificial, highly processed, carbohydrates and sugars, and the genetically modified foods that
Sodas.
are sprayed with glyphosate, DDT, which is a known toxin, carcinogen. Get back to ancestral living, growing your own food organically, fruits, vegetables, some meats, grass fed. It's funny because there's a lot of EPA regulations on like the water we drink. You can only have a certain amount of parts per million of mercury and aluminum, but the vaccines have like multiple times more of these
I think.
toxins, but they allow it. I don't get that.
And